Hello, I'm Perth Toll Life and Liberty Indexes, and I'm here with Robert Anthony Peters, who is the director of the short film Tank Man. He's here to tell us a little bit about the film. We're here on SMU's campus. We were here last night doing a panel and discussion about the film. And this is a film that resonated with me, and I wanted to get the word out there. Tell us a little bit about your film.
So it's a speculation on a day in the life of the guy we've come to know as Tank Man, the gentleman who stood in front of the tanks after Tiananmen Square massacre. Okay. So we start out with him in the morning and kind of conclude with his famous steps in front of the tank.
Yeah, so for people who may not be aware of Tank Man, he's the guy who you see the iconic picture of a man standing in front of the tanks in front of Tiananmen Square on the day of the massacre. And this movie is kind of an artistic speculation of what happened and why he was there at that time. Tell us about some of the obstacles you ran into.
Well, any film is full of a ton of obstacles. Sure. This one, though, we had some very special ones. One of the challenges is the nature of the content. And so we had actors who were, as they found out more about the project during the audition process, many had to say, I've got to bow out of this process. I can't go forward because I'm Chinese. I want to go back home someday, or I have family back there. And the risk of doing something about this there is huge. Nobody's allowed to talk about this event or investigate Tiananmen Square in China.
So that's actually one of the reasons why this movie I think is so important, is because it happened in 1989, but it still hasn't been an event that China has admitted to happening, and it's not in their history books. Their kids don't learn about it. And as we see in Hong Kong, it's happening again. And I was struck by the parallels between how they handled the propaganda and how they handled the uprising in Beijing. Very similar to what they're doing now with Hong Kong.
Yeah, if similar protests were happening in China, they could pretty much quash them the same way they've done now, because they have such a limitation on people's ability to share information. It's really frightening. But the nice thing is, in Hong Kong, there is still enough of that freedom that they're able to share what's happening. So if you follow these people on Twitter or anywhere online, you can see all sorts of videos of what's going on at the protests. I mean, there was a student who was shot yesterday, and we have tons of we've got at least a couple of different angles of it, but so many people are putting it out through so many different networks that it's hard to avoid. You can't just ignore it.
That's good. So technology is being used for both good and evil over there. Where can they find you?
www.tankmanthemovie.com. That's the website. Tankman the Movie, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Follow us. I report on news about China and Hong Kong all the time. We're doing things all over the world right now, and I would love to screen wherever you may be. So reach out.
So if you have an event need, or if you want a screening of this movie at your institution or organization, just reach out to Robert, and I can guarantee you he'll do a great job, because I was there with him last night. All right, thanks guys.